Brittany or Brie, whichever one you're going to call me. And in today's video, I'm going to be bringing you some tips on how to make the most of your day at Disney. So these are some things that I have just kind of learned the more I have gone. Obviously, you are free to spend your days as you like, but these are tips that I definitely do every single time, and especially if you're going for your first time or you don't get to go super often, I definitely suggest using these. The first tip I have is don't stand in line for too long. The longest I will ever stand in line is like 45 minutes, maybe an hour if it's like my favorite ride. But anything more than that, I usually just pass, even if it is my favorite ride. If it's like a 2-hour wait or something, don't bother. You could be doing so much more in that amount of time. I know you might want to absolutely ride that ride, but I'm sure the wait time will go down at a different point of the day. So I definitely recommend not waiting in line for, again, more than like 45 minutes, maybe an hour, because otherwise you're just wasting so much of your day. Speaking of rides, the times that you should try to do those like bigger, more popular rides are really early in the morning or really late at night. With the extra magic hours, I know they have kind of changed as time has like gone on. I know it used to be for everyone staying on Disney property, but now I believe it is only for like moderate or deluxe resorts. So if you're staying at one of those, I definitely recommend using extra magic hours and just like go crazy, because you definitely can get on a lot of rides during that time, whether it's an hour before the park opens to the public or an hour or two afterwards. I highly recommend using that time. I have done extra magic hours before and it is so worth it. You can get on so many rides. Also, with rides, if you're at a park that has some kind of fireworks show or something like that and you don't care to see it, or you have seen it before maybe and you know don't mind missing it this time, I recommend going to ride the more popular rides during that time as well. If you are going and say you have 2 days at Magic Kingdom, you watch the fireworks show one day, the other day you could go and ride rides. For me personally, I love just watching the fireworks show at Magic Kingdom every single time, especially once they bring Happily Ever After back. That's just never a skip for me. But if you're there, or like Epcot per se, I don't really ever care for the Epcot fireworks show, so during that time is when I go and ride the more popular rides, and I highly recommend doing that. The rides are always going to be longer around like mid-day, so I definitely recommend using that time to see like shows, or if there's a parade, or seeing characters or whatever, going to eat, something like that, because during midday is definitely when the most people are there, because that is when people can park hop and everything like that. So even if it's already a super busy day that morning, once people can park hop and everything like that, or now since annual pass holders will be able to come, I think it's after 2 p.m. Without a park reservation, they'll be able to come in as well. You definitely want to avoid that like midday section, again like 2-3 p.m. if you can like eat at that time or go see a show or something like that, maybe shop, whatever. I definitely recommend doing that, because those ride times will definitely go up, and especially for those bigger rides. The last thing about rides is to use the Disney app to check the wait times before you go all the way to said ride. The My Disney Experience app is so nice. I use it every single time I am there, and it is just so convenient to have. If there is a ride that you want to ride, you could check the wait time and see if it is under that like hour 45-minute mark. and so you can go and wait in it. Or if it says 90 minutes or longer, then maybe wait and just keep checking back on the app and everything like that. That way you don't waste your time going there just to find out it is a like 3-hour wait, because no one wants to wait in a line that long. Okay, another little tip I suggest is getting there right at rope drop or staying all the way until close. That could also help you with ride times as well being lower, but it also I think is just so cool being there right at rope drop, because then maybe you can get in there and get pictures, you know, in front of the castle or whatever without a ton of people in it, or you know, you can be one of the first people in line for something. And if you stay all the way until close, there are less people, especially because a lot of people leave right after the fireworks. The majority of the people leave when you actually have a little bit of time still afterwards. Something a lot of people don't realize is as long as you are in line when the park closes, you will get on that ride. So for example, when on my last trip with my mom, after we saw the fireworks show, we went straight to Splash Mountain. The park closed, but we were already in line, so we got to ride Splash and then we left. And it's so nice because you can usually get like 1 or 2 more rides in after the fireworks, but also you will be able to get pictures again without just a ton of people in it. And it's also just really cool to see the park with like barely anyone around. I just think it's really cool. And if you can do rope drop to park close, good on you. That is a super long day, especially if you're at a park like Magic Kingdom. Some of the other parks are a little shorter, but if you do rope drop and then stay till close at Magic Kingdom, or even like extra magic hours before or after, good on you, because that is a very long and tiring day. If you are going during a hot time of year, it's Florida, so it is usually pretty warm there, especially if you're from somewhere like further up north where it is cold a good chunk of the year, like I am. I am from upstate New York, so it is pretty cold the majority of the year. So to me, Florida is like just always warm. But anyways, if you are going to Florida, especially during one of those like spring, summer months, I definitely recommend eating somewhere inside versus outside. I know there are some really good outside locations to eat, especially at like Epcot, everything like that. But if you can eat inside, definitely do it. That way you get a chance to not only sit down for a little while, but also to sit down in the nice and cool air conditioning, because you don't want to get overheated. And it's also just a super nice break to just be able to chill in the cold air when it is so hot outside. My next tip is mainly for people who don't go that often or are only ever going to go once in their life, and that is to not go back to the room midday. I see so many people, especially in vlogs and everything I watch, because I do love watching Disney vlogs, that halfway through the day they will go back to their room and go swimming or like whatever, and I don't recommend doing that. If you go super often, then like sure, because I go every year, if not every other year. My last trip we did do that, I think twice, where we went back to the room for just like a couple little hours, then we went back. If you go all the time or like pretty often, again like once every year, every other year, then it's fine and you can totally do that. But if you are only going every few years or longer, or like this is your once in a lifetime trip, I do not recommend going back to the room midday, because it's kind of just a waste. You're paying quite a bit of money to go and spend that time in the parks. So if you can avoid going back to the room and just staying in the park, I highly recommend doing that. My final tip is one that I really love and a lot of people do not ever think about. Anytime I ever bring this up to someone, they like think it's really unique and everything. And this I highly recommend for really anybody, but especially if you have little ones. and it is to take a off day in between a few park days. So what I mean by that is when I go with my uncle and their two little kids is we will go to parks 2 or 3 days in a row, and then we will have a day off. And on the day off, we use that to swim, look around different resorts, especially ones that like we won't ever really be able to afford, and go to like Disney Springs and just like actually relax. I know a lot of people always say Disney vacations aren't really relaxing. This is a way they can be, and it's so nice, especially if you have little kids. On those day offs, obviously, like I said, you can go and plan to do a ton of things that are actually park related, or you can literally just use that day to sit by the pool or to just sit in your hotel room, catch up on some sleep, and just relax your feet. It is a lot of walking, and it is a lot of stress on your feet and your legs and everything like that, especially if you are in the heat as well. Then it can like make your feet swell. So it can just be so nice to just have a day to relax, because vacations are supposed to be fun, obviously, but they are also supposed to be a little relaxing, and this is definitely your way to do it. And that way, I say, especially if you have little kids, because that way they don't get so tired as easily and just kind of grumpy because they're overtired. Because I know when I went with my little cousins, having that day off was the day that they could just sleep in as long as they needed to, or nap if they wanted to, go to the pool and really just relax and kind of, you know, not have so much stress on their little bodies. Also just not have so much stress on our bodies as well. It is just something I highly recommend doing. So that is all the tips I have for today. I'm sure I could probably make another one, but I have wanted to make this one for a while, and these are all things that I tell literally everybody who's going to use or to think about, and that I use pretty much every single trip that I go on. If you guys have any other tips, please let me know in the comments below. But if you liked this video, make sure you give it a like and subscribe down below and hit the notification bell as well so you get notified every single time I upload. And I believe that is it. So I will see you guys in the next one.